Hartford game, guys showed a lot of resilience, down 1-0, answered back with 2. Haven't got the chance to speak with you about the game, so talk to me what you thought about the Hartford game.
Yeah, I thought we, started okay in the game. Then they took control of the majority of the first half, and we had to defend, a lot. But I will say, in fairness to the back four and the goalkeeper, the wind was, incredible. So we sort of struggled to come to grips with, their longer passing into the front players was easier for their front players to get hold of it, and we were like sort of reading the ball going a little bit longer, and it was holding up, and they sort of controlled the area of the pitch that we needed to control, and like I said, we went in 1-0 down at half time, and we obviously changed Dylan and Noble and moved a couple of things around a little bit to get us back into the game, and again in the second half I thought we were really good, passed the ball really well again in difficult conditions. Thought the 2 goals we scored were really good football. First one we break out, 2 or 3 passes in our own half, and then we run forward, good overlap, great run from Noble, and we score. And the second one, Mika, and Josh O'Brien combine really well, and Bruno gets on the end of a really good cross. And at that point, being the away team, the home team's going to throw everything at you. And I thought we had a couple of decisions that maybe could have separated ourselves. I think, the penalty decision on Noble, if that goes our way, we 3-1, and that's maybe too much of a hill for them to climb. But overall, coming away from a team that's banging form, I think they were second top in the league at that point, with a 2-2, tie. They're obviously really pleased to take that point. I think if we'd have scored the equalising goal in the last second of the game, we'd come off there thinking what a great result for us. So overall, pretty pleased in the 3 league games that we've had so far.
Gotcha. Obviously, we saw Pittsburgh in the preseason. Both teams have made some changes since, just in lineup and everything. When you look at not only their squad but their resume, their league resume in 2026, kind of what do you see?
I mean, obviously they've improved on last year and they won it last year, so you would expect them to be a really dominant force in the league again this season. What I keep saying about football is, to give yourself a chance to win, you've got to be in the playoffs. They've been in the playoffs consistently for the last 9 years, so that then puts them in a chance to win it. And what they've done is they've won it, and then they've gone, and I would say that they've improved again with the depth of the squad, the players that they brought in. Now obviously we've taken Eric, which is a miss for them. They lost Augustine, but they replaced it with Albert Dikwa. So you're thinking that that they've not lost too much in their overall balance of the squad, other than Eric, and then they've improved it. They've signed more players, and the bigger the squad, obviously the more depth you've got, the more you've got to choose from, and it gives them a chance to succeed again. But historically they've been a really, really good program, a good team, strong, difficult to beat, and we're going to have a tough challenge against us again.
We talked a little bit about it last week ahead of that game, but when you think about the wear and tear and workload of having 3 games in 7 days, how does that affect the third game, which is this Pittsburgh game, obviously?
Well, it does, but we've had to, with the depth and the pool of players that we've got, we've had to manage that situation, and we sort of rotated a lot of players around. But focusing in on just the league game at the moment, we've got a group of players, whether we're got time on our legs, we've got to recover right, and we've got to get ready, and we've got to play a game on Saturday, and so does the opposition. And as we know, there's a lot of things that can happen in a game of football that you can't plan for, but what we're planning for is a tough game, and we're planning to make sure that Pittsburgh come in and they have a tough game.
Jack's first full game back, first league game back in this year, celebrating. It's not his 100th a club appearance. We've surpassed that, but we're celebrating it. All-time club USL championship scorer. What does it mean to have someone like Jack Blake back in the squad?
Yeah, great. I mean, it's not his full game back. He's played 30 minutes. I would love to have Jack Blake back for 90 minutes, but the medical team, and I trust the medical team, are telling me how many minutes he can play because we don't want him to get re-injured. Is that important to us? And I think everybody's got to understand that when we're playing him and he's maybe sitting on the bench, he's sitting on the bench because we can only play him for a certain amount of minutes, because otherwise we run the risk of injury. But now he's sort of got that 30 minutes under his belt, and it was a tough 30 minutes because we were a man down. I'm expecting him to play more and more as the season goes on, and I think he is the all-time USL scorer, and I think he's probably one away from being the all-time scorer. So really good for him, and we congratulate him on 100 appearances, even though that was prior to this one. And hopefully we can get the goal or the couple of goals that he needs us to become out and out the all-time leading scorer for Indy 11.
Anything else you want to add about being back in front of the home crowd in a league game?
No, I think we're really pleased. We did well against Detroit. I'm really pleased that and we'll speak more about it, at a later time when we probably get together and review the month. But our support on Tuesday night in the cup game was absolutely fantastic, and we need to repay that loyalty and that support and that understanding as well. Not only have we got a great group of supporters that get behind us, I think they understand when we're playing a younger team, a less experienced team, that they need the help, and they did, and they give everything they could to them, especially when we went a man down, and we rewarded that a little bit with getting a goal in, but I'm really gutted and disappointed that we didn't get a win to take us through to the next round. But yeah, if they bring it again on Saturday against Pittsburgh, we'll provide the exact same on the field, and we'll give everything we can to try and get 3 points.